Oh, yeah, hang on, I'll be with you in a minute. Hang on. Oh, there we go. I hit the wrong button. Oh, yeah, welcome. I told you I was here. I'm glad you could hear me. I hope you could hear me. Welcome to the show. I always tell you, I like starting without technical difficulties. Today's not one of those days. However, I will tell you that we are lonely anyway. There's no way we can get around that. Welcome. Here we are. It's Sam Roberts now, live at youtube.com/notsam. And you can tell that we're live. Because if we weren't live, why, oh, why on earth would we start out like that? There'd be no reason. However, that's besides the point. It's a festive weekend. The fireworks are already going off outside, but not here. Here, we are not outside. No, here, we are in the Notsam studio, lonely as ever, loneliest night of the week, loneliest name in late night, this Friday, for every Friday. Welcome to Sam Roberts Now. I appreciate you being here. If you haven't already, smash the like button. Just smash it until your fingers are numb. You start to develop calluses on the end of them. Whatever you got to do, leave a comment, hit subscribe, turn your bell on, do all this stuff. And I don't mean Doug Bell. I mean the little bell that alerts you when there's new Sam Roberts stuff that you got to watch here at youtube.com/notsam. Look, listen. There's a lot to unpack tonight. There's a lot to break down. There's a lot to go over. It's been an odd week. It's been a very telling week here in these United States, and I think across the globe. You know, everybody gets this information. No hot dog tonight. He's been banned from Sam Roberts Now for a week due to lack of hustle. Actually, he failed a marijuana test, and USADA said that he could not participate in Sam Roberts Now. It's tragic. It's unfortunate, but hopefully Hot Dog will learn from his mistakes and stop taking these performance-enhancing drugs like marijuana. Yeah, so that was the big story, I guess. This is what we all woke up to. Sha'Carri Richardson, who I think that even people who had not really been following, who the up-and-coming stars of United States track and field were, now know the name Sha'Carri Richardson, or at least know her story. Fastest woman there is. 100-meter dash, smokes everybody. Olympic qualifier, won it with ease. Just dusted the competition. By the way, I already see you talking about potheads and everything else in the chat. Don't forget, Super Chat is the way to go. Super Chat guarantees a read on the air here on Sam Roberts Now. Fastest woman there is. Nobody could beat her in a foot race. Just the athletic ability of somebody superhuman from another planet. Somebody that could represent this country in a sport. After all, the only reason to even have the Olympics is for bragging rights. At the end of the day, the United States can have the best movies and music in the world. We can have all the technology in the world. We can be the world power. We can call our president the leader of the free world. But if we can't win at sports, what are we, a bunch of wimps? No. We must win the Olympics as well. We must be good at all. And who better than Sha'Carri Richardson to represent these United States running around the track at the Olympics against all the other countries, dusting them all. But It is not going to happen because Sha'Carri tested positive for a drug. Yes, I know, it's shocking. Terrible. Won't somebody please think of the children? Sha'Carri Richardson, we found out this morning, I guess, is when I found out anyway, that she has been suspended for a month by the Olympic Committee. Of course, that lines up perfectly to make it so that she can no longer compete in the 100-meter dash at the Olympics. There are other Olympic events that she might be able to compete in, but it won't be her big event, the 100-meter dash. She had cannabis. THC was found in her system. THC, I always thought that these drug tests were mainly to find out if you were taking drugs that would make it easier for you to run fast. Apparently, they just want to be in your business. They just want to know. I guess they go like, well, they said we want to test this for the safety of our athletes. We want to make sure our athletes are safe. Oh, yeah, because you hear about that all the time. These professional athletes, they end up on the street with nothing or just dying in tragic ways. Why? Pot. Why else? It's the same sad story every time. The whole reason 30 for 30 exists is so all the stories of all the athletes who led tragic and unhealthy lives because of horrible abuse of weed has become so prevalent. I mean, it's nuts. She took full responsibility. I was happy to read that Nike didn't drop her, for her month suspension. She did, I guess, go on the Today Show and take full responsibility. I knew the rules. I shouldn't have done this, blah, 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 blah. She did the right thing. Great. And I was surprised to see there were some people. Like, I figured that this would, again, be one of these one-sided conversations where everybody feels the same way about it. But there are people that are going like, hey, man, the rules are the rules. That's going to be our theme tonight. Because I feel like that was the theme for the whole week. Hey, the rules are the rules. Sometimes the universe sends you signals. Sometimes the universe is telling you, I don't know how many examples we have to give you of things that are following the rules and make no sense whatsoever. And you're still going to sit here and say the rules are the rules. Well, there's no hope with dope. Okay, that's what I've heard. I've heard that. I know maybe that's true. But the rules are the rules is the lamest excuse for anything I've ever heard in my life. That's when it's like, well, I don't want to have any sort of conversation about it. I don't want to use my brain. I don't want to think about the logic behind it. It's on a piece of paper. The rules are the rules. Because the minute you go, well, why are those the rules? Everything falls apart. I don't know. I didn't make them. She signed up for it. Okay. And then you go like this. Well, why did she break the rule? Does she have any reason? Was this just a fun night? Was this just recreational? First of all, marijuana is not going to make you a better athlete in any situation ever. There is no athletic game. And people were retweeting the Robin Williams bit all over the place today because I guess he's realized since the 90s that it was an absurd premise that you would even test Olympic athletes for weed smoke. But I think that just the stress of being an Olympic level competitor, you're entitled to have something to take the edge off. Just the idea that you have to live up to this expectation that you're the best in the world at this athletic event. I'd be freaking out all the time. I'd be losing my mind. And by the way, not only do you have to be the best at this sport, but you have to prove it all the time. We're just going to keep coming up with competitions for you all the time. You know why I never went to school after college, never went to graduate school, I never even considered it? Tests. No more tests. I don't want to take any more tests. If I tell you I know something, just assume I know it. Don't make me prove it. I don't like tests. I don't even like follow-up questions all that much. But when you're an athlete, especially going to the Olympics, everything is a test. Everything, your entire life. Preparation, test. Preparation, test. And talking about grading on a curve, you can't just do well. You have to be better than everybody in the world at this. And she's smoking everybody. I said this before. I think I said about Tiger Woods. I was so frustrated with the Tiger Woods documentary. I don't even like golf. I don't know if I've ever even seen, I might have seen a clip, but I've certainly never seen Tiger Woods play a full game of golf. I don't know that many people have really in their lives sat down and watched an entire game of golf. It's excruciatingly long. But I have never seen Tiger Woods play golf. But I was watching that HBO documentary, and they were just talking about all the drugs and the pills and the sex addiction and all this stuff. And I'm going like, we got to get back to the fact that there's this athletic event, this thing, golf, that he does. And he's better than anybody else on the planet. Maybe better than anybody else on the planet has ever been. Greatness has to be protected to some extent, you know? Like, if you're going to tell me that this woman may be the fastest woman in the world, and she lives in these great United States of ours, the one drawback is that the stress of maintaining being the fastest woman in the world, every now and then she tokes up a little bit. I'm okay with it. I'm fine with it, you know? If I have a daughter that's sitting there like, oh, one day I want to work so hard at something that I can be like Sha'Carri, because Sha'Carri worked so hard at this thing that she became the best in the world. I want to be like her. Do you think it would it? No, honey. I don't know about that. She's tried marijuana. Not a good idea. Come on. Kidding me? Then I find out that the reason that she had some of the sweet, sweet cheeb, as it's known, you know, with the kids and stuff. For those parents, if your kids are talking about sweet, sweet cheebs, this is what it is because it has nothing to do with the pressures of being on the Olympic team. The reason, she says, and I don't even think she should have to give a reason. Hey, why'd you smoke marijuana? Oh, because there was this, I was busy doing none of your fucking business, and that's why I smoked it. That should be the answer. Hey, why were you doing this? Oh, because there was a whole bunch of nunya that I had to take care of. None your goddamn business, okay? Move along. I'm the fastest person in the world. I don't know if you're the fastest. Okay, are you faster than me? Then I'm the fastest person in the world. Move along. That should have been the response. But instead, she's still being managing to act like she should be taking some responsibility, which I don't think she needs to, but still doing the right thing, still being a role model. And she says, well, in this case, the reason that I smoked marijuana, and I saw people going like, man, you have to have so much pot in your system now that she would literally have had to smoke like a couple of days before the test. How could any Olympian, there's so much responsibility. How could any Olympian be so irresponsible, audacious to smoke weed that close to... Relax. Like, relax. What's on your plate that you haven't screwed up, okay? She needs a little relief because she's doing an interview with some reporter. And the reporter goes, so, your mom died. She goes, what? The reporter goes, your mom, who's dead? Sha'Carri goes, I had no idea my mom was dead. And the reporter goes, oh, well, yeah, your mom's dead. Now, I'm paraphrasing this interaction. I just read that it happened, and I assumed that this was the back and forth. But so, like, yeah, it stressed her out a little bit. She's just sitting here doing interviews thinking she's going to be talking about running, going to the Olympics. And she finds out from this stranger that her mom's dead. Okay. She needs to go home and chill out a little bit. She's got the Olympics coming up and a dead mom. It's too much. It's too much. So she does try to take the edge off. And because she took the edge off, she can't go to the Olympics anymore. There's two people right now on this planet that I would hate to be. Today. Today, it's a bad day to be that reporter and to be Michael Phelps. Michael Phelps is not a great day to be. I mean, he's still got all those Olympic gold medals. But, I mean, for somebody who became so well known, for being a fan of smoking pot and having all the gold medals. It just, a lot of comparisons were drawn. It wasn't a good day to be either of those people. They ruined things. They really ruined things. USADA comes out and they go, well, the rules are clear, but this is heartbreaking on many levels. Oh, okay. So you can acknowledge that the rules are clear. Yeah, but it's heartbreaking on many levels. Oh, okay. I'm glad that you feel it too. You know what the main level that it's heartbreaking on? This person doesn't get to go to the Olympics and compete. That would be it. That would be the level. And then USADA had the audacity, the balls, the nerve to say that the way Sha'Carri is dealing with it, Sha'Carri Richardson here, hopefully it will teach people how to successfully overcome regrettable decisions. The only reason why the decision she made was regrettable was because you kicked her out of the Olympics for it. That's the only thing that made it regrettable. And if the punishment of not being in the Olympics is literally the only bad part about what you're doing, then the punishment probably shouldn't be. Like, they should have turned around and said, what this incident showed us was there is a rule on the books that makes absolutely no sense. It's not happening in any of these situations. When a rule isn't followed and something insane happens because of it, and instead of people going, maybe we should change that rule, they go, well, those are the rules. They're broken. It sucks, right? No, I'm with you. It sucks. And you're like, what do you mean you're with me? Just change the rule. It's your rule. Why don't you change it? Wow. Wouldn't be fair. To who? What? Wouldn't be fair. Christopher Cavey says, guess who's not passing a drug test tomorrow? Me. Thank you for the super chat, Christopher. And I hope you don't get drug tested tomorrow. And if you do, I hope they go, well, we can't lose Christopher Cavey. This rule obviously makes no goddamn sense. You know? And a lot of people who are even on Sha'Carri's side are going, well, it's legal now. In so many states, that's why it's ridiculous. It's legal. And that's true. But frankly, even when it was illegal, it still doesn't make any sense. Why are you like following all the Olympians around, making sure they don't break any other laws? Are you checking their hands to make sure there's no spray paint on them? What if they're vandals? What if they were graffitiing? Are you hooking things up to their car to make sure that they don't speed on the highway? Speeding is illegal. You should be testing for speeding too. Are you, what about loitering? Loitering's illegal. Littering is also illegal. Are you testing for those things? Oh, you're not. Oh, okay. No, just testing for marijuana. At no point has it ever been a performance-enhancing substance. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Why would it be any of USADA's business to test for anything other than something that enhances performance? Unless the corporate organization has some kind of policy, like, I don't know, like, jobs shouldn't drug test unless your work is unless it would affect your work, right? And I don't see how any of this would affect this or any Olympian's work. It's crazy. It's insane. Yeah, Milli Vanilli says weed doesn't make her run faster. That's it. That's it. Spartan says the evidence provided thus far would all apply to steroids too. She ran faster. So why should it be illegal? I mean, I don't think steroids should be illegal. I could see them not wanting Olympians to be on steroids. You know, they want to even the playing fields. But, like, I don't know. Steroids is a different thing, I guess. But it's just crazy. It's just, the weed thing is nuts. People got to stick up their ass. Look at this. Remember, you guys see this tweet that went out? It was a newscaster in St. Louis. Paige Halsey tweeted this out from KMOV. She showed this picture. She said, looks like a normal teen's bedroom, right? I'm thinking, that does. Most teens have these big television lights in their room. They hang up their tapestries with painter's tape, at the top there. They have a weird office window. Yeah, just a normal teenager's room. Definitely. And she goes, coming up on KMOV, we'll show you what parents should be looking for so they can identify signs of drug use. Oh, man. There's literally a sign right here that says mile 420. If you're a parent and you need the new, first of all, if your kid's got a tie-dye tapestry behind their bed, they're using drugs, right? That's what's happening. That's why else would they have that there? And you couple that, there's a sign that says mile 420. It's not a highway. There's no reason for mile marker signs in a bedroom. It's a bedroom. Even if you didn't know, and it's 420. Should be some personal responsibility. What does this say? Something zone on this pillow. I don't know. This pillow definitely seems like it's some kind of drug reference too. This photo is littered with references to drugs. If you are a parent who is watching the news and you look at this photo and you're like, I better stay tuned. If you're a parent and you're on Twitter and you're scrolling through and this photo comes up and you go, oh man, that looks just like my kid's room. I don't think my kid's on drugs. I better watch this news report. You failed. You failed. I don't know what to tell you. Here's the news report, though. This is from St. Louis. Hiding places in your teen's bedroom.
Force Paige Halsey joins us live to show us the warning signs that you should definitely look out for. Paige?
Well, in our last hour, we walked you through this staged bedroom here at DEA headquarters.
Oh, it's a staged bedroom.
That teens are hiding drugs in plain sight. An example right here. What you think is a hairbrush, the top really comes off. You can easily stash pills in there.
What?
This one shocked me. You think it's a tampon, but you can pull this tube out, a place to hide either pills, even booze. And
so if your son is sitting there in the room with a tampon, don't just sit there and go, son, I don't know why the tampon's there, but I'm assuming it's for normal medical purposes. No, it could be a secret drug compartment. You really got to like drugs to have all of these secret hiding spaces in your room, especially if you've already got a tie-dye tapestry and a 420 sign in your room. You probably aren't using fake tampons to hide your drugs.
And how about this one? A parent might think that it's just an extension cord.
Definitely.
The light even comes on, but you can open it up.
Whoa.
And think about how many pills you can stash in here. The problem right now.
How about this?
Pills.
Guess where I got my pills stashed? Surge protector. How about this? If your kid's got a surge protector in his room and there's nothing plugged into it, that's it. That's suspicious. Who just has surge protectors lying around their bed? What teen has a room full of unused surge protectors?
Do not contain.
I'll tell you what teens do. Drug addicts.
Teenagers might think they're ordering. Also, these stash cans are so easily accessible.
No.
I can tell you, they ordered all of these off websites that are very popular, very common. I know that I use these websites, and I'm guessing that you do too. So
I'll bet she does. Yeah, you do. Yeah, Paige likes to have a good time. I bet she does. I wonder, you got to imagine, because when you go through YouTube, they've literally done, different news stations have done this exact same news report with the fake drug bedroom for years. It's been years of the same report over and over again. If you just search on YouTube, typical drug teen bedroom or something like that, you'll see it over and over and over again. There's no way these reporters don't know the whole thing is ridiculous. And is the DEA, the DEA, remember Breaking Bad? It was if the cops were around, that was one thing, but nobody wanted to mess with the DEA. The DEA was serious. It's this has got to be some kind of red herring or a distraction or something like that. This can't be a serious effort to squash drug use amongst teens with tapestries. Those are weed leaves. Those are really clearly weed leaves. It's not even hidden in plain sight. It's just in plain sight. There might as well be a sign on the door that says, I'm using drugs in here. This room does not have a secret drug surge protector in it. The drugs are just in the drawer everywhere. It says, like, this person, drugs are literally this person's favorite thing. When I was growing up, I had like some white zombie posters. Probably had a picture of corn somewhere in my room that I pulled out of Circus magazine. And I had a bunch of wrestling posters on my wall because that's what I was into. This person, only drugs. They just love drugs. They got the tapestry. They got the 420 thing. They got the pillow. And every stash box you could possibly find on this mystery website that this news reporter likes to go to all the time. I guess to get her stash boxes. I don't know what she's saying.
But let's talk about what's in the pills. Special agent in charge, Sean Vickers, joins me now live. Okay, what's the issue with counterfeit pills right now?
So drug trafficking organizations are distributing pills throughout our country.
Oh, no.
And they are doing it in a counterfeit format, making them look like pharmaceutical drugs.
What?
Why would they put fake stuff in them? You know, so if a teen thinks they want Oxycontin and that's what they're ordering, why wouldn't they just give them that?
By making it look like pharmaceutical drugs, they're actually they're able to include fentanyl in their product, but they're trying to make it look or cater to a community of users that prefer.
You don't want I get it. You don't want the kids taking pills. Good. I'm glad. I don't want kids taking pills either. My preference is the kids don't take pills. But this is so confusing. There's going to be this mom who is now going to go into her kid's drug bedroom and tell the kid to not do drugs because there might be fentanyl in it. Like, I don't know. Timmy, I was watching this report, and the problem is that it's not even real drugs that you're getting. It's the counterfeit drugs. And there's some fentanyl in them, but it's counterfeit, and it's much more dangerous. And then Timmy goes, Mom, what if I can guarantee you my drugs are not counterfeit? And the mom will get confused. I mean, I guess that's better. Is that more fentanyl or less fentanyl? The teen's like, I don't know, Mom. Can you put fentanyl in a bong? Because if so, I've probably smoked it. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, Aaron says, I'm okay with the drink of booze in the tampon. How great would... She did say you could put booze in it. Like, instead of having a flask, you have a tampon. Can you imagine? Like, that would be like a cool girl in high school who shows up to a party and she's like, you might think I'm using this tampon because it's that time of the month. No, and it's her flask, just sipping out of a tampon. No, officer, it's just a tampon. It probably would be effective, you know. Most male officers would go like, oh, okay, all right. Like, they wouldn't want to question it. They'd be like, you know, traditionally, I wouldn't expect to see this young lady drinking out of her tampon, but I don't want to, I don't know. I don't know anything about that. No, move along then. Move along. No problem here.
Or pharmaceutical drugs.
Okay, so the fentanyl is still going to give that user the high, but it's way more dangerous, right?
Yes, even a small amount can be fatal.
Okay, so what really...
I mean, but it's, so there's still fentanyl, right? Like, this is so confusing. I don't know what they're talking about. She's like, but so there's less fentanyl and more danger? And then in regular drugs, there's more fentanyl and less danger. The guy's like, I don't think you're following me at all. We're not trying to encourage the user at home to use fentanyl. And she's like, but what's the best place to get the fentanyl? I've got all these stash boxes and nothing to do with them.
What really happened during the pandemic? It seems like things got even worse, but teens were just at home, so how do they have so much access to the drugs?
So many users can make use of the open web or the dark web, but the open web does have companies that sell pharmaceutical drugs online without a...
Fuck! I got kids. So you're sitting there, I got to worry about the open web, the dark web, tampons, surge protectors, fentanyl, and danger. Man, when I was a kid, it would just be you get your drugs and it would be full of fentanyl. Now it's less fentanyl, just enough to get you, tweaked, and then danger on the open web and the dark web. Oh, God, my head hurts.
without a prescription.
The numbers you shared are staggering. Give our viewers an idea of just how serious overdose deaths have been in the last year.
Okay.
So in a 12-month period throughout the nation, we've had over 90,000 overdose deaths.
And here in St. Louis?
In the metro area, there's been a significant increase in ODs.
Okay, so this is an issue we all know.
I have to believe that this news report increased drug use. Like, I can't believe that anybody didn't use drugs because of this news report. And I do have to believe that some people were like, oh, I didn't know you could just get drugs that easily. I should try. This doesn't seem like an effective way to get people to not use drugs. You know, it's a good way to get people to not use drugs. I mean, I would think that making it so that people can't go to the Olympics if they use drugs would be a good way to get people off drugs. But even that doesn't work. I don't know. People like it. People like it. I mean, but when we talk about rules, well, those are just the rules. Those are just the rules that are sitting there going like, but this doesn't make sense. We go back to our Queen Britney Spears here, who is still under conservatorship even after last week. She said she was being tortured. She said she was being harassed, traumatized by this dad of hers, Jamie Spears, who I guess I always get him confused because her sister's name is Jamie Lynn Spears. And it's a weird thing when the guy names his daughter after himself. It's complicated. It's complicated. But she is still under conservatorship. A lot of people were dismayed when they found out that Britney is not free, even after the thing last week where she explained everything that was going on and they couldn't get she had a forced IUD in her and all this horrific stuff. But the thing that the judge came down this week with that said that Britney was still under conservatorship had nothing to do with the Britney testimony from last week. The Britney statements from last week apparently are going to get addressed on July 14th. So 2 weeks from now, those get addressed. This was addressing statements that were made before Britney's statement. Everything takes a long time in these courts. But there is stuff happening here. There are moving parts. So the way this works, to my knowledge, is that there's basically 3 people in charge. There's the Bessemer Trust. Bessemer Trust is a company that was brought in to be a co-conservator for Britney's finances along with Jamie Spears. The original story was that Britney, I guess, didn't trust her dad to do it alone. So she said she wanted a co-conservator put in. Bessemer Trust comes in. Jamie Spears goes to court and tries to get Bessemer Trust removed. The court goes, no way. I don't think so. That seems fishy. So it's Jamie Spears and Bessemer Trust together in charge of Britney's finances. And then this lady, Jody Montgomery, is in charge of Britney's personal life. So what happens this week is Bessemer Trust steps forward and they go, look, I'm Paul, and this is between y'all. We really don't want to have anything to do with this whatsoever anymore. This has gotten too complicated. We did not know Britney felt this way. We did not know she was so miserable. We thought she liked us. Apparently she does not. So we out. And they are petitioning to be completely wiped out, dropping out. They said this can be, Jamie can have all the finances. Jody can have all the personal. We don't want to have the financial responsibility anymore. We are petitioning to be removed from the conservatorship, okay? So now Bessemer Trust is leaving. Now Bessemer Trust, I had thought was supposed to be there to be kind of on Britney's side because her dad is apparently not on her side. But they're saying that's what we thought too, but it feels like we're not anymore, so we're splitting. That's my interpretation of it. Then I start like reading, what are these conservators saying? After Britney Spears is like, she's comparing herself to somebody who's being sex trafficked, who's being forced to work. I mean, they got to say something, right? Apparently they're horrible people. Well, Jamie Spears comes forward and he goes, yeah, I think she's talking about Jody Montgomery. Jamie Spears comes out and he basically goes like, man, I'm so sorry to find out that Britney feels this way about Jody, and he takes on zero responsibility. He's like, matter of fact, I haven't spoken to Britney in 2 years. So Jody has been torturing her, I guess, and I didn't even realize it. So that sucks, huh? Jody Montgomery's over here going like, that's bullshit. He's definitely talked to her in the last 2 years. They vacationed together during COVID at some point. He knows everything that's going on. And the fact that he's in charge of the finances, they said, would lead you to believe that they could not make any moves without his approval, because to make moves costs money. And he's got to pass all the money decisions. And I'm sitting there going, I understand why conservatorships exist, I guess. People lose their minds or become physically incapable of doing stuff, and somebody's got to take care of them. Okay, that happens. But somebody's got to be real far gone to need a conservatorship, It has to be like, this is not even an adult human being anymore. We can't trust this person in the real world. And so they need somebody to take care of everything for them, and that's cool. But you can't tell me that a person can headline shows in Vegas every night. She's been on tour. She's done a national tour, maybe an international tour, I don't know, while she was under conservatorship. How can somebody handle being on an international tour and everything that comes with it, but can't be trusted to live a life? Makes no sense to me. None whatsoever. And then these conservators and some of the legal experts are saying, well, technically, I don't think that legally they can force Britney to have that IUD in. And I think like either Jamie or Jody, one of them, said like, yeah, well, you can't do that anyway. So I don't know what she's talking about. And it's like, well, then that begs the question, how much shit are you doing to this lady that she thinks that she's got to leave this IUD in for you? Because obviously she thinks she's got to. And this doesn't mean that Britney has lost her mind. This means that she's probably so shaken up and so restricted on everything that she's doing that she has no idea what the conservatives are actually allowed to do or not allowed to do. Right? That's how it strikes me. But ultimately, I'm listening to these two conservators blame each other. I'm like, don't even worry about it. Jamie, if you're so worried that Jody Montgomery is treating your daughter poorly, go to the courts and say, I don't think Jody's right. Jody, if you think it's Jamie, do the same thing. And let the courts just decide this whole thing was ridiculous anyway. But you know what the courts are going to say? Well, Britney needed a conservatorship at one point, maybe. And we're going to leave her in conservatorship because the rules are the rules. Those are the rules. What do you want me to do? And I'm just sitting there like, can't you just use common sense? Every now and then, use a little common sense to make a decision. No, rules are rules. Rules are rules. Oh, okay. All right, so you mean to tell me that she can do everything she's been doing for the last 13 years publicly, but she can't take care of herself. We don't know who's in charge of what. We don't know which one of these people is making her feel like she's a prisoner. I'm telling you, that Black Mirror episode with Miley Cyrus in it, where she's like the pop star that's being totally controlled by everybody around her and being drugged and everything. When that episode came out, I thought it was far-fetched. When the Miley Cyrus Black Mirror episode came out, I thought it was far-fetched. I'm telling you right now, the guy that does that show, he heard some Britney Spears stories. Because it is hitting too close to home. When you start hearing some of what's going on, there's a lot bubbling under the surface here. We're talking about human beings trying to control other human beings. Nuts. It's craziness. Especially, talk about greatness, talk about needing to protect greatness. This woman gave us Toxic, for God's sake. Her career should have been over, and she throws Womanizer at us. Are you kidding me? No. It's insane. And you mean to tell me, after you put out Toxic and Womanizer, after every hit that you've ever put out, she already had a best of. She's still dropping hits. You can live your life however you want to live your life. If you want to shave your head and hit paparazzis with umbrellas, no problem. You saw that Britney documentary. Those paparazzis drove her to the point of insanity. That's what happens, though. They get driven to the point of insanity, and then everybody around them goes, don't worry, I'll take care of them. Let's get it in writing, though. Let's make sure we get it in writing. And then it's over. We got you. We got you. Speaking of getting it in writing. Bill Cosby, who would have thought getting it in writing, and those are the rules. Another situation of, well, these are the rules. In 1 week, the fastest woman in America cannot compete in the Olympics because she smoked weed. Britney Spears is still under conservatorship, and Bill Cosby is free at last. Why? Those are the rules, man. I don't know what to tell you. Those are the rules. Look at Bill Cosby throwing that peace sign up. Peace. You can't support peace and giving women quaaludes. You can't do both. You got to pick one or the other. You can't do both. It's hypocritical at a point. Bill Cosby, and now they're saying too, Bill Cosby was freed earlier this week. And I read it, like his lawyer is saying, he's ready to get back on stage, man. He's ready to get back out there. And I'm like, what? What? Look, if there is an appetite for Bill Cosby comedy still, and he can sell tickets, I mean, God bless. What am I going to tell you? By all means, sell tickets then. If people still want to go see the Cos perform, then go to it. I got to believe that there's going to be some hecklers. I certainly would, it's probably the only instance where I would say I hope so, and hecklers, but I hope so. You know, I think like right before he went into court, I feel like he had to stop going on the road because people started heckling him a lot, and he wasn't doing well with it. And I have to believe that wouldn't stop. Like, if OJ did a one-man show, they went on a speaking tour, I don't think he'd be able to get through one show without people yelling out from the audience. I can't imagine that Bill Cosby would be any different. I mean, just because you found it's so weird too, man. He finds a loophole that allows him to get away with it. And he's running around like he's innocent. Nobody's saying he's innocent. No one. They're just saying there's a loophole here. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. And what would you, if you're the person getting the Bill Cosby tickets, like, do you go to your work friends? Like, hey, you guys all want to get together over the weekend? I was thinking, we all go to a show. Yeah, we should all get together. We don't do enough outside the office. Bill Cosby's in town. What? Like, who's going to be that guy? Who's going to be the Bill Cosby's in town guy? Who's the guy that goes home to his wife and goes like, I got us a babysitter. Oh, really? Oh, we haven't been out together in so long. I know. I got us a babysitter. I got us dinner reservations at your favorite restaurant. Oh, it's going to be so nice. I even bought you a new dress. I can't believe it. And you know what we're doing after dinner? Oh, what are we doing? I got us 2 tickets to see Bill Cosby. What? With the meet and greet. VIP, baby. Huh? Who's going to do that? Who's giving people meet and greet Bill Cosby VIP tickets? I don't know, but I'd love to see the conversation happen. So I guess he's going back on tour. The deal with Bill Cosby, here's the loophole. So it's kind of odd for me to understand. So in 2005, he gets charged, or charges come forward for what he eventually went to criminal court for. But the prosecutor at the time looked at the evidence and realized there was not enough evidence. So he went to Bill Cosby and he said, "Hey, Bill Cosby, if you sit down and give us a deposition, we can promise you that we will not bring criminal charges against you. If you give us a deposition and tell us what happened, there will be no criminal charges." And Bill Cosby goes, "Okay, no criminal charges?" He goes, "No criminal charges." He goes, "Okay." So he goes to the deposition. In the deposition, he did admit that he had given Quaaludes to women. I don't think that he admitted that he gave them to them under false pretenses. I don't really know, but he admitted that he gave women Quaaludes. This was in 2006. This is part of a civil trial, right? They settled a civil trial. I think Cosby had to pay like $3 million, whatever. 10 years later, 2015, a new prosecutor who would become a judge reopens this case and goes, "Oh, well, now that we got this deposition, this is a lot of evidence here. Let's reopen this case. Let's reopen the criminal charges." And the original prosecutor goes to this prosecutor and says, "That's a terrible idea. The only reason we got the deposition is because I told Bill Cosby there would be no criminal charges." And she goes, "So? Is it in writing?" He goes, "Well, no, it's not in writing. But Bill was not read his rights before he did the deposition. And since he was told that no criminal charges would be filed, he did not think that he would have to plead the Fifth Amendment to not incriminate himself. He thought that he could say things that would normally incriminate himself because he knew he wasn't going to have criminal charges filed. So, by using the deposition and by reopening this case, you are taking away his right to not incriminate himself, his constitutionally protected right. It's a bad idea." And the new prosecutor goes like this: "Mind your own fucking business." That's what she's just like Sha'Carri Richardson should have said when they asked her why she was on marijuana. That's what the new prosecutor said. Take your nose out of it. And they go through this trial and the whole thing, and it happens, and the judge decides to let it go. Cosby gets found guilty. He goes to jail. He appeals it. Eventually goes through the appeals, goes all the way to the Supreme Court in Philadelphia. Philadelphia goes, "I mean, if he told him it wasn't going to be criminal charges, probably shouldn't be criminal charges, right?" And they go, "I mean, I guess." And they go, "All right, he's free, and because the waters have been so muddied, future attempts to prosecute Bill are now barred." And people are just sitting here going like, and it's natural. You sit here, and for the most of us, I sit there going like, what the hell? What are you talking about? How is this even possible? Well, those are the rules. And I'm like, well, then what happens to this prosecutor? She should have to do the rest of the jail, or I think it was a woman, but I might be wrong. The prosecutor should have to do the rest of Cosby's jail time. Somebody should have to pay. This is insanity that this would happen. Bill Cosby goes, "No, it happened because I was innocent." And I'm like, no, it didn't. Nobody said that. Kind of the opposite. And if Claire Huxtable is over here, Felicia Rashad finds this like sweet old grandpa picture of Bill and goes, "Finally, a terrible wrong is being righted. A miscarriage of justice is corrected." And you're like, I mean, look, if you're big into prosecutorial misconduct, then I could see celebrating this. Like, if prosecutors bringing things to trial improperly is something that really gets under your skin, I mean, I guess I could see celebrating Bill Cosby being free. But the thing is that you kind of have to ignore like the 60 women that were kind of psyched at the fact that this person that they were accusing had finally had to pay some kind of consequence. It's kind of tough to imagine somebody caring more about prosecutorial misconduct in this instance. And then Felicia Rashad, because that was confusing, followed it up with, I fully support survivors of sexual assault coming forward. My post was in no way intended to be insensitive to their truth. Oh, okay. I was worried that it was for a second. I was worried it was insensitive. I guess it wasn't. All right. I must have read it wrong. That's my mistake then. I mean, you know that you've done something, somebody has done something horrible. I'm not a lawyer like Harvey Levin. I'm a lawyer. I'm not. I would probably put the blame. I mean, there's three spots that you could put the blame in, right? The first prosecutor that made the deal with Bill Cosby to begin with. It's a weird deal to make. But I don't put it with him because he said there wasn't any evidence and Bill wouldn't have talked. So at least, if we can't get this guy in jail, let's at least get some cash for this lady, okay? So I get where he was coming from. There's the second prosecutor 10 years later who, that's the one that I blame because they told you not to do it and you did it anyway. You could probably kind of blame the judge too. And then you could blame the Supreme Court for doubling back, but, you know, Supreme Court is the ultimate, those are the rules, people. So what do you expect? You know it was a mistake, though, when all the articles start coming out about the different legal teams that are now moving things forward. Harvey Weinstein's getting excited because he thinks he's going to get out of jail. Ghislaine Maxwell, that's what I've read. Harvey Weinstein, like this Bill Cosby, I don't know that it's a precedent because it really was the law, but this Bill Cosby thing has brought hope to like Harvey Weinstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. And that's, you know, that's Bill Cosby. Like, I got you. I'm representing for you guys out there. For all the Weinsteins and the Ghislaines of the world. I got you. Thank you, Bill. Thank you for doing that. I'm glad that you will go to your grave with your legacy fully intact. This is a guy who brought us great comedy records. Picture Pages, Fat Albert, revolutionized sitcoms with The Cosby Show. And eventually, he'd be accused by multiple women of sexual assault and would go to jail and get out on a loophole. Also, he gave hope to Ghislaine Maxwell and Harvey Weinstein. But let's really focus on Picture Pages, right? I think that's what we'll do at the end. I mean, come on, Bill. You got to be out of your mind. I mean, I feel like if I'm Bill Cosby, lock yourself up in your house and never come out. You probably got a real nice house. You won. I don't know how you did it, but you did it. Take the W and leave. Going back on tour, though. He's got to spread his joy with everybody. He's got a lot of jokes to make. Oh, all right. I didn't realize. So there you have it. That's what we're doing now. We're just going by the rules. Rules are on paper, and that's what we're going by. It's led to Britney, conservatored. Bill Cosby's free, not Britney. And Sha'Carri Richardson cannot run in the Olympics. Maybe when stuff like this happens, we think about changing rules, huh? Maybe it's time some of the rules change. I don't know. Folks, if you haven't hit the like button yet, go ahead and hit like right now. I would appreciate it. I'm looking at some of the chats right now. Everybody count pen drops with me. I don't know. I got a lot of ticks. What can I tell you? Every time somebody points out a tick, I try to come up with a new tick to do away with the old one. If I didn't have this desk covering me, you'd be watching my knees go up and down. Watch the back of this chair. You probably see it moving like crazy. My restless leg goes nuts. If you turn on the Ultimate Show on Peacock and you see me fantasy booking wrestling, I mean, it's just my legs moving a mile a minute. If you really want your contribution, though, read on the air, you know how we do it. Super Chats only. Every Super Chat gets read here on Sam Roberts Now. It's the only rule of the game. So, let's get to it. Christopher Cavey, hi, Sam. Finally out of Facebook jail. Thanks. I'm glad to hear that you're out of Facebook jail. I'm really glad about that. Not Sam Lehman. Inside then, now, forever, together. That's what we are here on Sam Roberts Now. We're inside and we're lonely, and that's how we're staying. It's the way we were pre-pandemic. It's the way we'll be post-pandemic. Alex Stoll, Sammy Brand Muffins. Keep getting those gains. Oh, keep getting those gains. You should have seen me today. Today was Strongman Day. Keg over bars. 10 in a minute. 10 kegs over the bar. 1 minute. I'm the man. After all, if you can, we can. That's right. Have you ever considered using performance-enhancing marijuana? Love you. Yeah, maybe I should start smoking weed before my workouts just to get that extra boost. Sean, by the way, I see you. Bald Sammy Brand Muffins is much better than Afro at Not Sam. I think you're right. I agree. I also repeat myself a lot. I say things twice. Christopher Cavey again. Oh, I got you already. Owen, Ethan, Aaron. Is an Olympics where nobody's doing any drugs too much to ask? No drugs at all until you're done competing. Is that so hard? What are you, a fucking square? Like, how about also no fun? Should we do no fun? Like, I don't smoke weed, but if you're at the Olympics or you're going to the Olympics, you know, smoke a little weed. You want to have a cocktail? And you still go out there and you're better at your sporting event than anyone else in the world? Why would the rule exist? Why? That would be my question to you. Oh, and Ethan Aaron. Is an Olympics where nobody's doing any drugs too much to ask? Yes. Because why? Especially if you're like in the marijuana as a drug category. Why? Plus, the Olympics haven't even started yet. Daniel Wimberly, watched Baby Driver for the first time on acid, changed my life. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed that, and I hope you enjoy never going to the Olympics. Because we got your confession. Read it and weep. Greg Schmidt, first time, long time. As his employer, do you test hot dog for work performance enhancing drugs? If so, I fear you may be wasting your money. Yeah, sometimes, you know, based on performance, there's really no reason to test for enhancing drugs. Can you imagine if Hot Dog this whole time was on a brain-enhancing drug? He would have had to be brain dead, not on drugs. Bob Shafty, Hot Dog told her he didn't want children. Oh, must have been with Britney. Clayton King, I appreciate you. Christopher Pinky Schultz, it's me, old Pink. Best drunken super chats weekly, and I have to pay. The weed thing is shit. Britney should be free. And I need a liver. Love you, bud. Hashtag kill Doug. I don't know who Doug is, but... Oh, Doug Bell? Yeah, I'm with you. And let's get you a liver, huh? Let's put Bill Cosby back in jail. And let's get Christopher Pinky Schultz a liver. Not Sam Lehman. Sam, this whole Cosby thing tells me Kanye was right all along. Come on. Of course Kanye was right all along. Kanye's always right. Kanye is always right. All right, guys. I'm looking. I don't see any chat that I need to get to, though. I appreciate you all. Yeah, I guess Frenetic Phil says cannabis diminishes my performance. Yeah, and that's okay. Enjoy it. Enjoy yourself on an evening, on a weekend. When the kids are out of the house, maybe you got a babysitter or something. Lower your performance level. I don't mind it. I'm not mad at it. It's fine. I'm not testing. Nobody's asking. It's all good. Appreciate you all being here. You guys are great. What? We don't want Cosby back in jail. No, I kind of want Cosby back in jail. I'd feel better if they were just like, yeah, let's put, like, Cosby is definitely in the situation. Here's why Cosby should just stay home. Because he's in that weird OJ space where, like, OJ should never have gone to jail for 12 years for the weird hotel room drama with his own memorabilia. But he did because he got away with murder. So I can only imagine what would happen to Cosby if he got a speeding ticket. You know? And he probably feels invincible right now. And he's not. He's under a microscope, and he probably doesn't even know it. All right, guys. Appreciate you. See you next week. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. If you haven't already, hit like. I mean, I'm looking at that like count. I feel like when Hot Dog's here, you give it more likes. You're going to end up giving me a complex. Don't do me like that. Hit like, smash it, leave a comment, turn the bell on, subscribe to the channel. We'll see you next time here on Sam Roberts Now. Oh, and I think on Tuesday we'll be dropping a new In the Not Sam Studio. In the Not Sam Studio episode Tuesday. All right? New Not Sam Wrestling on Monday over on the youtube.com/Not Wrestling channel. New In the Not Sam Studio Tuesday here on this channel. Enjoy the content. I'll see you again soon. Have a good night, everybody.